You know, who's this? Sizwe Dhlomo. He's quite active. I saw him recently now get into a fight with Floyd. And so having watched and read some comments in his post recently, the algorithm would come back and show me a situation where he was talking on gay people and homosexuality and people being born that way. Where's that Sizwe Dhlomo thing? Oh, it's right here. To check this Sizwe Dhlomo video and at the same time, do what? Where's that video of mine where I spoke on Lungelo KM and Penny Libiane? I asked a question about this myth about gay people being born gay. There's something that is happening right in front of our eyes. Homosexuality and information about it was not, homosexuality was not a prevalent thing, and there was not information spread out about it. And so there started being a rise of gay movements around the world, starting in the 70s over there. I think that's when the first gay pride was held. And of course, the world first met homosexuality with disgust and anger, and the people were, of course, outcasts in society, and there were also rumors, about them and stigmas made. I watched a movie called Philadelphia, Denzel Washington. You understand? In this movie here with Tom Hanks, he's a young lawyer. He's representing a gay man who has been fired from his job because it became known that he's got AIDS. And so this movie is set during a time where people thought and had a stigma that says if you touch a gay person or you're in the same room or you breathe the same air as them, you might catch their diseases. It was believed that they are sick, all of them. They have AIDS. It was rumored. Society met them with disgust, etc. And so as the knowledge about homosexuality and homosexuals and their prevalence in society increased, and they started making information about themselves known to people. They started embracing themselves and celebrating and talking about it on TV and talking about it on radio, desensitizing people. Indeed, society would change. People's minds would shift. And of course, not just a shift in minds. Those who were extremely negative and they were led by stigma in their perception of homosexuals, their intolerance. Those people of old died and passed away. And now we have new people on earth who are being born in a time and place where the LGBTQ pride movement is everywhere on our screens. It occupies an entire month. And we saw during the Biden administration there being a rallying by corporations to change their logos to the rainbow colors during Pride Month and to put LGBTQ products by the entrance so that when you walk in, you know that it's Christmas. It's a gay Christmas out here. Pink, rainbows, colors, all of these things, right? And so it would be said when people questioned, where do homosexuals come from? Why are they homosexual? Why do they do what they do? Why do they have relations with one another? And responses would come up. Oh, so you're curious? You'd like to know? Well, they would say, gay people are born that way. See? They're just born that way. Nobody can become it. Nobody can opt into it. Nobody can experience same sexual interaction and become swayed to have it. And that's the answer we'd be given. They're just born that way. All other options excluded. And so time went, and over time, we would see more of homosexuality play out on our TVs. We'd see more gay people being famous. South Africa, we have Somizi, Sizwe, Lungelo KM, etc., etc., etc. And with that, we've had gay people also go to podcasts and speak their stories. You understand what I'm saying? And Hollywood as an industry has reached a time and place where so many men that we thought were straight, like Diddy, like Madea. Oh my goodness, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry and Little Will Smith. It has been said that basketballers, people in Hollywood, are weirdos. They have a certain culture. There's a culture there, and that is the melting pot where the whole world gets it from. There's a culture there that is distributed, which the world would not have outside of Hollywood's power to distribute such things. And so with Bo Didi and Bo Tyler Perry, who is now getting sued, right? Millions of dollars for trying to solicit and in fact actually committing the act of assaulting a man. How was the assault? The assault was he had a guy came and provide services to his party or something like that. And then he would tell the guy to sleep over in a guest house and relax. He didn't have to go. And so it is rumored, it is said that Madea would go and enter that room where the guy couldn't lock himself, or did he lock himself in there? I don't know. But at some point, Tyler Perry managed to get under the blankets of the guy, and then the guy would resist and he would lock himself, or he failed to lock himself, but he didn't let Tyler Perry make it. And so we realize now that, no, hold on. There are men who can approach straight men and they attempt them. They can put a man in a trance. I don't know how they pull it off. Or do they take you on a date or something like that? I've had some richish niggas who drive well, who live certain lifestyles, try to approach me with that. I know a guy who does like a driving car journalism show. The guy has been driving cars that I've been liking for years, bruh. For years. You understand what I'm saying? I am ambitious for the good things and the good life. I want to drive supercars. I want to drive hypercars. You know, I plan to succeed and indulge myself in motor vehicles. And so I never thought it until I saw it. When I noticed that there's a brother here who's using his access to motor vehicles and men's mutual love for cars to actually try to bang men. And he's trying to bang me as well. And so many have experienced this, where you realize that, man, gay men know that they can cajole, tempt, and work a man. If he's a broke guy, you give him some money or you promise him a dope lifestyle. And at some point, if you rub him or maybe you give him some liquor and then you book a hotel and you're like, hey, relax. Don't be afraid. Just calm down. And then nigga puts his hand in another nigga's pants, you know, and he juggles some balls. He juggles them. And then apparently a nigga will get a hard-on, right? And when he does, the one who is the original gay man will say, look, just try this out. Hold it right there. You managed to get it up. Who knows? Maybe the gay dude will even go down and take it in to his mouth. And then the straight man will be like, yo, man, this feels like it's a blow from a woman. It's exactly the same. If one a man can do it. Better or something like that, I don't know. Woo-wee. Damn it. And then the gay man would probably go on his knees and say, yo, try me out. Go in. And then straight dude will go in. Who knows? Maybe he enjoys it. And then maybe once more that night. And then when he wakes up in the morning, like he got bit by a vampire at night, maybe a nigga has changed. And so gay men know that some men can be changed. They can become influenced into homosexuality. There's a chasm that you can cross. You understand? There's desires that are not natural to you that you can become naturalized into. You can move to America and become an American. Who knows? If you hang around gay dudes long enough and you kiss them and you frolic with them in bed, you become a member of the pride community. And now you'll be out here singing gay pride all over the place. So, Sizwe Dhlomo here, where am I getting this from? Yeah? So Sizwe Dhlomo here is involved in a situation. There's an argument going on here, and his portion here ends. I don't know if he ever responded to this afterwards, but here's where I pick it up. Well, I can't speak for them, but I do know that people that are gay because they're born that way. Just like how you were born stupid. Is stupid rife among you broke niggas? Okay. And this is still moving, still ticking from the 27th of June yesterday. So we go in, right? And as we go in, we kind of track where this came from. Sizwe, what causes gayness to be so rife among black men with money? Yini, you become fed up with begging women? Because those ones, Pella, will give you a headache even when you have money, right? And so that's where the response from Sizwe was responding to. And so there was something that was spoken by Sizwe before that. He said, I own restaurants in my early 20s, so I just go there. What was he responding to? Somebody called Septimius Severus had said, you got a chef or you got sisters who do, or Imedi always to do the honors. So I don't see where this departed off as a gay conversation or whatnot. Let's keep tracking it backwards. Cool. And he says, Mina, I can't cook. Well, let's say I've never had to. Okay, so this was about cooking, about being a man, about having a woman, etc., etc. So it ended up in the gay conversation was that guy following this thread and trying to suggest that Sizwe Dhlomo might be gay. And so men with money don't have women in their lives. They go for other men like Tyler Perry. I don't know. Let's keep going back to where this came from. Somebody had said, and you? Where did that come from as well? So somebody had said, and you? Mina mfowethu liyashawa ipoto ekhaya. Wonke umuntu, even ifro. Okay. Let's stop going too deep into it, right? We are here at this point and the comments are available. Let's check them out. We've got a 1990s movie, a GIF over here, a meme. Ithwalo ndoda bathwele. And have you ever heard that men who engage with men, some of them do it because of African traditional practices? There are spirits that apparently require men to engage with other men. So that's what the guy there is saying. Somebody loves that, someone is angry. So Sizwe Dhlomo is angry. But how did you conclude that he's broke? That question seems to have moved you. Are you gay? And then somebody else says, there he goes standing up for them again. Why? Does it hit closer to home? I rest. My goat is cooking a fraud. Okay, hold up then. While we're here, let's just try to find that video I did, right? Let's just try to find the video where I spoke about... Okay, so it seems that Sizwe Dhlomo is quite moved by this question and he's responding rather emotionally. Is he not informed about men who get turned? Is he not informed? Perhaps let's inform him and let's ask the question again now. It's becoming quite relevant. Back at you with another video. I hope you're good. It's been some time. I am. Yo, so I had now no hair back then. But then it's winter now. I've had to grow my hair a little bit. So we are here and there's a guy by the name of Brashear Gray. He got turned gay. Nah? And here's where I commented and asked the question. It'll come, we will watch a little bit. I hope to raise the question again. Let's play the video. Of a sort has taken place. And she would know this because as a media person, as a radio and TV talk show host, she knows advertising, she reads ads, she knows sponsors of their shows, she knows how the radio station makes money, and she understands that all of it here is a game of attention. It's the desire to occupy a person's mind and to give them a direction, because people come onto the earth without much of an operating system. I've got children. If you look at a child, you know that there's emptiness in there and it needs to be filled. You know that there's the basic mechanism that is waiting to receive instructions, and then the machine will follow. So programming doesn't only happen to us as children. It happens to us even into our adulthood. And so I thought to myself, I've seen this programming. There's a lot of information out there. You hear about the Illuminati, you hear about secret societies, you hear about things called psyopses, psychological operations, where a billionaire, somebody rich with some money, can hire some actors, and these actors can start to pump out a message aggressively, and they will sustain this for a long period of time, like a bombing, a continuous bombing. And then after 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years or so of just keeping their head down, they start to realize that people are being conditioned. People's behaviors are now changing. Those who went from being teenagers to adults within that time have grasped the programming, they now live by it, and they don't really realize it. So I thought Penny Libyan is somebody who would never admit to being a part of that. And so Penny Libyan was talking about people being turned into alcoholics. And so I paralleled the discussion by asking, if you are saying there was an effort to turn black men and black women into drunks, if the state we find ourselves in is because somebody intentionally did this, what about the increasing homosexuality? So I started this some time back. Let me also speed it up just a little bit so we can ask the question to Sizwe Dhlomo a bit more directly. Hopefully Colbert will repost this. I really need the brother's coordination. I need his help. We can work together. And she's not actually admitting to be a part of it. She's now, maybe as she's growing, she's becoming more conscious as she looks back in retrospect. Maybe now she's slowly coming to admit what she's been doing. But for now, she's pointing out at those people. I don't know who those people are. Maybe she's talking about the ones who own the liquor industry, the ones who actually pay the radio station, and the radio station then gives her instruction. Maybe she's, distancing herself a bit, not fully taking accountability. I don't really know. But I appreciate this because I really thought there's a code of conduct, or no, not a code of conduct, a vow of secrecy that you take if you participate in this system of conscientizing people. Because the people being conscientized don't really know it. The ones who are doing it know it. I myself, being in front of a mic, being in front of camera, know how influential I can be. I know how people can take me extremely seriously because I am passionate and I'm, in a nice setup. My lens has got this situation looking all nice, and people can idolize and take my influence very easily. So I try to be a good influence. I thought there's a vow of secrecy among the people who know how vulnerable people are and how powerful their message is. I thought there's a hush that you can never say. When you're hired at a radio station, just do your part. This is how human beings are engineered. Over time, when you see the distraction happen, keep your eyes down. Don't say much about it. Or when you do, point fingers at others and never really say, hey, look, this is something that I got into. But here she is, she's speaking. And I'm going to bring this to another kind of programming, which I witnessed myself. Many of us have. So here we finally are to this part of the video. I hope you're still here. And it's the programming of the male Black South African into homosexuality. Homosexual content making its way into TV at an alarming rate at some point, in line with the entertainment industry and Hollywood's attempt at bringing it and spreading it across the world. There was a coincidence there. Gay content and the acceptance of a gay lifestyle and the turning to homosexuality accelerated at some point. We all saw it. And that's the question that I have to ask her. If you've observed that programming of intoxication, is it intoxication? Did you not see when the male masculine was being effeminized? What is your awareness about that? What can you tell us about that? And no disrespect to Lungelo KM there. I know Lungelo is a homosexual man and he's somebody who interviews quite a lot of homosexual. Hold up. And you will note, right, that somewhere just under these comments, we had Lungelo KM. There he is, right there. there's Lungelo KM right there. He's crying emojis. And so he's here. He knows this question has been asked. I think he really might have seen this content. This question, where I reviewed his content and asked the question, he knows that the question has been asked. And the jig must end, guys. You know? The rumors must come to an end. We've seen homosexuality play out long enough. Much information has been given. What was myths from people who hated gays has been quashed. Né? We now know that y'all are not sick and carrying disease all over the place. We know that y'all are normal people. Y'all can function and you have rights. You can do whatever you want to do with your life. Thank God those myths about you are gone. Now, the myth as well, right, about gay men only being born into this also has to go. We need to throw all myths away. There are men who are being turned into this. Indeed, they are. And let's listen a bit more. We'll see an example of that.
Lungelo, can you tell us about that? And no disrespect to Lungelo KM there. I know Lungelo is a homosexual man and he's somebody who interviews quite a lot of homosexual people on there. And later, at another stage, maybe in another video, we will come to ask him some questions as well about the impact of his show, the impact of the LGBTQ movement, the LGBTQ Pride Parade, the Pride Month. What impact does he actually see and observe? As he's seeing an increase in homosexuality coinciding with an aggressive marketing of it, him being a homosexual man, does he still hold to the myth, I call it a myth, that says everyone who is gay is born gay? I think at this point that should be getting debunked. Firstly, when homosexuality and things are new to us, we don't understand them. We hear those who claim to be born that way, saying they are born that way. You see, there's a few gay people in society, and then suddenly there's an acceleration in marketing. There's a rights movement across the world and a promotion of homosexuality, and then at a rapid rate, there's now many more gay men around. When Lungelo sees that, as a man who respects himself and knows his story about how his sexuality came to be as it is, how does he feel about men who are being turned? And some, I'd say, are turned by, we all know this, that happens, unfortunately, in the homes perpetuated by men who are in the closet, who then are boys in the home. And then those young men, psychologically something takes shape and they go on to become actors of what they experienced, repeaters of it, or merely living it in their life, not in an abusive way, but maybe in consensual exchanges. Not saying everyone who gets goes on to, but I'm saying, yes, this is known. There are statistics of men who share stories when they finally get to grips in their adult years. For example, there was a conference of former gay men who stood on stage and spoke about how they took an honest look back at how they came to be homosexual, and a lot of it stemmed from single mother parenting, boys who assimilated their mothers who were very strong and there was no strong father figure, or mother figures who hated masculine men, the fathers of the children. And so the mother would take out anger on the male child because that child reminds them of their father who may have been an abuser. So this child grows up knowing that as my masculinity shows up, my mama rises with aggression to combat me. So she hates masculinity and any sign of it, and she likes me conform to my sisters. So I start to,
I was born to a mother who had me at 15 years old. My home was very dysfunctional. It was abusive and dysfunctional. I actually seen my father put his hands on my mom, and it left mental scars and emotional scars in me. It got to the point where my dad ended up abandoning us, and that left me really, really sad. As a young child, I can only remember wanting to have a relationship with my father, and continually him not showing up and being there was very tragic to me. So I grew up with a single mom, and she was one of my only influence. And I was the guy who was not into sports. I was not going to get dirty. I was like, that's not for me. I want to dance, I want to sing, and I want to be an actor. And I never had the desire to be a homosexual, but it wasn't until people started calling me homosexual. It wasn't until they started planting these seeds and saying, hey, you know, you like hair, you like to dance, you over there with the cheerleaders instead of with the football players, you're homosexual. And so that began to create a curiosity. I already suffered emotional wounds from my dad not being there, that abandonment, and I was looking for male affirmation. For most of my teen years, I was abused by a close family member, physically abused, which led to more pain and more hurt. And so I dove into the lifestyle. I really gave myself...
Ayo, Sizwe Dhlomo, are you listening to this part in particular? He never was homosexual until people started saying, hey, perhaps you are. You see, perhaps you don't know it. Perhaps you can discover it. Perhaps drag the cable, ring, ring, and then the generator, it will do. And the guy went into a lifestyle that was not his. It was suggested to him. He was indoctrinated with a gay gospel. It happens. Let's keep listening. What do you think, Sizwe Dhlomo? Back up a bit so you can give us some answers, bro.
You like to dance, you over there with the homosexual influence. And I was the guy who was not into sports. I was not going to get dirty. I was like, that's not for me. I want to dance, I want to sing, and I want to be an actor. And I never had the desire to be a homosexual, but it wasn't until people started calling me homosexual. It wasn't until they started planting these seeds and saying, hey, you know, you like hair, you like to dance, you over there with the cheerleaders instead of with the football players, you're homosexual. And so that began to create a curiosity. I already suffered emotional wounds from my...
Are you going to try and tell me that a South African broadcaster like Sizwe Dhlomo has never encountered this kind of information? He has spoken to all kinds of people. The only people he's spoken with are those who are homosexual and pro-homosexuality. Nobody at all that he knows who has turned away from the lifestyle and who has spoken how they got into it without being born that way. Because it said that the only way to be that way is to be born that way. The exception to the rule. He's never come across one, or is in denial. And is Lungelo KM laughing there in the background, knowing what is... No, man. There are people who know something. What's happening, bruh? Let's play.
My dad not being there, that abandonment, and I was looking for male affirmation. For most of my teen years, I was abused by a close family member, physically abused, which led to more pain and more hurt. And so I dove into the lifestyle. I really gave myself over to promiscuity. By the time I was 18, I was stripping. I was living in the nightlife, drinking every night, partying from Sunday to Sunday.
Was this guy born a stripper? Was he born debaucherous? Was he born a party animal? Or these sort of things became in him, guided by influence?
I knew there had to be more, and then I encountered the love of God. And he came in and radically changed my life. The person you see here today is not the person I used to be. I am changed. I am fulfilled. I'm living my best life. I'm smiling and I'm dancing and loving life. And I want to tell the government that you cannot make decisions that will block people who were like me, who needed change and who wanted change to find freedom.
And when I got to kindergarten, my mother and my father, they decided to take me out of school. And I was taken out of school for a total of 8 years. And during that time, I was tortured by my mother. My mother was very hurt by men, and so any sign of masculinity was a trigger and a threat to her. I can remember her beating me with a wire hanger until I was bloody and putting alcohol all over my body as I stood in front of a mirror. And I learned at that moment that I could not be masculine. I learned that I had to be effeminate. I had to emulate my sisters to avoid triggering her, and so that I could survive.
I'm saying, with all of this knowledge of how conditioning and programming is so strong, and now I'm talking more about the conditioning from the media, from advertising, from content that just hits you, ads with guys kissing. I'm talking about the influence that is not of the abuse kind. That comes from radio. That comes from the airwaves. That comes from NGOs that pay for those ads. Activities and activism. Signage that is paid for by some board or panel of people who say that this is advocacy, and they are not saying this is promotion of people to become homosexuals. What does Lungelo have to say about this current conditioning that still is continuing? And in a way, he is now currently Penny Libyan. He's very...
Yeah, what does Lungelo have to say? Maybe he hasn't seen my video. So I'm just gonna paste the link. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just gonna paste him the link and reply. You understand what I'm saying? Let's also quote Sizwe Dhlomo there and share the link with him. You understand what I'm saying? We can end the video right there. Hope you like, hope you comment, hope you share, and you subscribe. I'm experiencing some issues with sharing the chat with you and having you be in the story with me. I'll try to get to understand what on earth is happening, and then I will see you in the next one once I've sorted out everything. Peace out.